This video is brought to you by Blue Guardian, the only prop firm that protects their traders.
Anywhere in here, I would like to see pullbacks into. Maybe we have something like this to where we, reprice and go long, and then that becomes demand and we don't actually come lower. Who knows? We still attack the market the same way and we look to buy it like that. That's if something like that forms. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen, but we have to be prepared. That's why it's so great to understand directional bias, having an understanding of top-down analysis, and just the general principles that come with smart money. What is going on, fellow traders? Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to another pre-market analysis video. Hope you guys had a great trading week over here at Aerial Effects. We hit a lot of great setups and a lot of great trades. So I'm going to discuss a few of them today while also giving you my directional biases coming into the next week, while also giving you some setups that you should be looking out for to take advantage of this upcoming week as well. So of course, if you guys are interested in learning how we trade on a step-by-step basis that is actually teaching you application instead of just terminology and just the overall concepts, please feel free to head over to my website, aerialfxtrading.com. Book a free call with me, see how our program works. If it's the right fit for you, great. If not, no worries. And I'll even throw in my trading plan absolutely for free just for booking a call. So can't hurt to do it. But anyways, I'll get right into it. These are the pairs I will be covering: CHFJ, EA, EN, GU, NU, USHF, NSHF, NCAD, ACAD, AN, and ASHF here. All the other ones I will briefly talk about, like GBPCAD, I think, and maybe GBPUSD. I'm not quite sure. We had a couple of setups on the pound this week that played out very nicely, so I do want to go over those with you. The other ones highlighted in red, I will be discussing. The other ones that are not highlighted in red, I just don't currently have a setup for at the moment. So what we're going to be doing is just going to see and wait to see how well price plays out this upcoming week. And obviously, those of you who are in our Profit from Automation group and or our VIP mentorship, you guys will be getting updates on a day-to-day basis for all these pairs, not just the ones highlighted in red here.
Our sponsor, Blue Guardian, is the only prop firm that gives their traders a tool to protect them from hitting their max daily loss and over trading. It's super simple to use. Just set the Guardian Protector each day from your dashboard. Did you also know that they've just released an unlimited time evaluation with a 0 trading days requirement, giving you plenty of time to hit their low 8 and 4% targets, making it super fast to get funded. Plus, it's cheaper than the 40-day time limit evaluation. Check out the link and coupon in the description to get 10% off your next Blue Guardian evaluation.
Let's get right into it. CHFJPY. Let's go out to the 4-hour time frame. This has been in consolidation for quite some time. We're in a little bit of profit on our first area of interest. We've talked about this many of times before, so if you guys are not following along with the pre-market analysis videos that are uploaded to the TRADINGNUT channel every single week, definitely be sure you guys are tuning into those. Very valuable stuff, and it gives you pretty much everything I'm looking for, even the areas of interest that I'm looking for as well. So we already know we're already bullish: higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So what we could see is an overall retracement for a higher low for then a higher high. Right? That is something that is definitely probable because we are definitely higher time frame bullish. However, we are still maintaining short-term higher highs and higher lows as well. Higher high, higher low, higher high. This is still just one higher low sequence because this is the most recent demand. Just like that was the most recent demand. On a lower time frame, this is demand if you scale into it. So overall in the higher time frame, this is one expansion. So could we break the structure here, come lower before making a higher high? Absolutely. But we could see some continuations short term like that as well. So our first level of interest was this area of demand. We also have a smaller one down in here. So definitely multiple regions of price. Counter trend at the moment is bearish. So we may actually end up taking the low, maybe to start next week and continuing higher. At this current time, there are no pertinent setups. What I do like is the fact that we are bullish and we have equal highs. This signifies that we have a lot of buy-side liquidity, so continuations long are expected. We also can see retail shorting within this trend line, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. So there's buy-side liquidity resting above this trend line as well, which further gives me conviction that this will go long. However, I'm not quite sure when. Will we come back down into here and go long? Will we come back down into these zones, the higher time frame demand levels? If you scale in, you'll be able to see those better. I don't know. We'll have to see. Could we generate liquidity, sell to buy, make a higher high, create an area of demand, pull back and go long next week? Who knows? Potentially, that's something that we'll be just looking out for as the days go by next week. But all I'm trying to tell you guys is that we do have areas of interest down in here to look out for, but also my directional bias is long. I do expect further upside. So out of CHFJPY, EURAUD. So my EURAUD and EURNZD biases are a little bit different because of the short and long-term areas of interest that we have. So What I mean by this is, although Euro AUD is definitely still bullish, we can see higher high, higher low, higher high. And could we be in for an overall retracement? Possibly, yes. That's definitely a possibility. I will extend this all the way out so we have more of an idea. Just make sure that's an exact 1.6. And that's really nice because this is the last selling volume here, right? That's the last selling volume that failed to generate any sort of low within this counter trend that we had. This is what created the accumulation, very beautiful accumulation, and the huge expansion which created the imbalance. So with that being said, if we just scale out, I know it's blurry, but I'm just scaling out here. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, could we have a higher low deeper down into here where the accumulation occurred, sweeping all of this sell side liquidity? That's definitely a possibility before continuation is long. However, on the lower time frame, we're still bullish as well. So what I mean by that is high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. And this is overall just a pullback. This is the most recent demand. So at this current time, we are in this level of demand right now. So could we go long? Possibly. That's definitely a possibility. However, this is Friday's low, or it's actually Thursday's low. So what I would expect if price is actually going to go long is we might end up sweeping last week's low, which is right here, and then continuing long like that. So however, we are still counter trend bearish. We are still making lower lows and lower highs, at least short term. So that's why I do like these two levels of supply. We have that 4-hour 50 EMA lining up very beautifully as well. So we could tap into that level or come up a little bit higher to that level. Overall, we're still bearish. So I do want to be looking for continuations short on Euro AUD. However, we are into this level of interest. So if we end up losing on this trade and it goes long, what we'll then find out is that the counter trend will then be broken. Then we can look for pullbacks to long it. So we don't always have to be right on every single solitary trade. We're just building probabilities and building confluences as we go, right? As long as we have good risk to reward and we're sticking with our trading plan, we're going to be fine in the long term, and that's all that matters. So we are entering into this area of interest. Could we come lower? Yes, that's why we have these supply levels we could be shorting. What's interesting about this is that if you can see, and you can see it on the 4-hour time frame, is that we built buy-side liquidity and we ran it with this wick. That is a buy-side liquidity run. This happened Tuesday, September 5th, so 10 days ago, at 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. I'm not quite sure because this is the 4-hour time frame, but this happened at that 4-hour candle, that time interval when London was opening at that certain day. We ended up creating a sort of a counter trend descending trend line. 1, 2, 3 touches. We ran it, enticed buyers here above the breakout, and then went down and took their stops. So we're definitely counter trend bearish. The most recent supply levels are right in here, that supply zone and this supply zone here. We have the 4-hour 50 EMA as well. So we could see some continuations. I will definitely be looking for shorts the upcoming week. But if we break up to the upside, then at least we'll know that we have reacted from the level. And then we can look for continuations long if we have something like that and we look to buy it. So we're just going to be patient. There's not always going to be a setup on every pair every single day or every single week. But once there is and our rules are met, we attack. All right, so that's Euro AUD. Euro NZD, I am looking for relatively the same thing. I would like to see lower prices on Euro NZD as well because we haven't fully taken sell-side liquidity here. Right, this wick here, I would like to see that run and then take last week's low, come into the overall last selling volume before the up move. Right, so if I just zoom out here and show you the bigger picture, we can definitely see we're bullish. High, low, and then this is the overall higher high. This is the overall higher low. This is the low that generated this new high. So where's the range between here and here now? So that's why I would like to see further downside because we haven't come into this last sell to buy. We also have a lot of imbalance in here, and we have this mini area of demand that we haven't come into yet. So anywhere in this kind of region of price is where I'll be looking for potential longs. And we have a lot of buy side liquidity with this trend line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. So price is likely to go long and take out that buy side. May not be right now. Which is why I think that we may have some sort of reaction off of supply here or here come next week. Either one of those two levels, just like Euro AUD, come a little bit shorter before overall long. So my overall directional bias is certainly long. However, we may see some more short-term selling deeper into this region of price here. If I scale into a lower time frame, which also makes me like this area, is the fact that we created this head and shoulders. Head and shoulder we faked out from, We went long. We ended up coming back down, sweeping the sell side here with that wick just by a couple pips, but that is a sell side liquidity run. And then we went long again, finally made that higher high overall, and that's where we took out that high right there. So at that point, this becomes the range from that low all the way up until this new higher high that formed. Okay, so anywhere in here, I would like to see pullbacks into. It just depends on what we get. Maybe we have something like this to where we reprice and go long, and then that becomes demand, and we don't actually come lower. Who knows? We still attack the market the same way, and we look to buy it like that. That's if something like that forms. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen, but we have to be prepared. That's why it's so great to understand directional bias, having an understanding of top-down analysis, and just the general principles that come with smart money. So next, that's your NZD, GBPUSD. I like to see further shorts. Overall, I do believe the US dollar is going to short off. I've said this time and time again on many different pre-market analysis videos. Just what's going on in the world, I do think the US dollar is going to lose its power at some point. But we are seeing a lot of dollar strength, and that's typically the case when a huge bear run is going to occur, right? Take out a lot of buy-side liquidity on the dollar, or in this case, XXX-USD sell side, and then look to continue long. So we may actually come down and sweep this previous low that occurred May of this year. We could even come lower. At this current time, we've been bearish since the middle of July. So definitely looking for continuations. There's no reason why we should even be looking for buys at this current time because the trend is still bearish right now. So we'll scale into the 1 hour time frame. I called these two levels out. I actually deleted this, but there was a level in here. That's an area of supply. And I noted that this is an overall pullback. This is an overall expansion. So could we have seen an overall pullback into the last buying volume? Yes, we could have for an overall expansion. Again, that's definitely how structure works, right? But on the lower time frame, I also said we could just continue with the lower time frame trend. Low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. And that's exactly what we did. We had a couple areas of interest, and it just so happened that this area was met and it continued. Could it have pulled back into that last buying zone, which is the actual supply, because this is the most recent demand right here within this counter trend. And that's where we failed to generate the higher high and ended up making the lower low. So that turns flips from demand to supply. We could have come up into that level. And I'm not saying that if this exact setup were to happen again, that it wouldn't. It could easily come up into that level. That's just why I have multiple levels, just depending upon the lower and the higher time frames, because I don't care which one it trades off of or it reacts off of, because I can make money on either one of those. So if I lost on this one and I won on this one, then that winner would easily take care of that loser, right? Because risk to reward. Because the probability of us actually going long versus short in a downtrend, the probability of going short is much higher than it going long, right? So it's all about probabilities. Now, could it go long? The market can do anything it wants to do, right? But if we put probabilities and risk to reward together and aim for the long term and not care about losers that occur on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, that we're going to be perfectly fine. See, the people who fail in this industry are the people who want to always win every single solitary trade, every single day, every single week, every single month, and they get butthurt when they lose, right? That's just not the right mentality to have, and that will never be the right mentality to have no matter what. So it's always important that we're maintaining good psychology, and that definitely is something that it's very hard to do, but something that we do put a lot of pressure on in our mentorship, because without psychology, it doesn't matter what strategy you have, you're going to fail. It's just, that's what it is. That's the reality of it. So anyways, we reacted off of that level of supply here. I'm going to scale into the 15-minute and show you sort of the continuations. So we had a high, we had a low, we had a high, we had a low, we had a high. We kind of broke a little bit, not as, it wasn't a good confluence enough to take a short off that supply. But the fact that we reacted off that last buying volume, had a reaction short, then made a lower low, then this area, this last buying volume in here becomes a great point of interest. So at that point, we took an additional short this week and we made a good amount of money. So this one is a 1 to 5, this one's a 1 to 6. So currently floating up in really good profit right now. So I'm gonna go back to the 1 hour time frame and let's just continue with the trend, right? Got to trade with the trend until it breaks. So currently lower low, overall pullback, lower high, lower low again. So looking for some sort of overall pullback. And I like the fact that we're reacting off supply here, reacting off supply here. We have a fresh supply right here, that last buying volume before we took that low here, right? Last buying volume, and then we made the lower low below that low. So that's a good level of interest to be looking out for. And what this also is this could be a buy side liquidity run. Take that buy side that formed today during London session. So sweeping Friday's high, coming into that supply zone, and then falling. I love those type of setups. I love the setups that when we create a level of supply, let's say it's right here, and we go like this, I love when it does that because it creates liquidity, unmitigated supply or demand, just depending on what direction you're trading, and then the continuation. And then what's great about it is if we get a structural break here, and then we create another supply here, that's another great area to continue taking trades from. So these are the types of setups that we teach our members to look out for, and they do happen very, very often in the market across all the pairs. It just comes down to your patience and your discipline and waiting for those type of setups to occur in the right direction of trend. So that's GBPUSD.
All right, folks, I'm here at Black Bull Markets headquarters in Auckland, New Zealand. You can see this amazing view behind me of Auckland Harbour. Now, talking about views, if you do want to get free TradingView Pro, then all you need to do is trade one lot a month at Black Bull Markets, and they're going to give you free TradingView Pro. So, folks, to find out more, click the link in the description below or the card above.
NZDUSD is pretty much the same. I am looking for overall shorts. We have equal lows. Dollar is still strong. I'm not going to fight the trend right now, right? I know we say trade what you see and not what we want to see, even though we want to see overall dollar weakness at this current time, dollar's still strong. Why try to fight it, right? There's no point. So we're continuing to make lower lows and lower highs. This is on the 4-hour time frame. So where's the most recent structural points? Well, we had a liquidity run here, right? This is the high that swept this previous high, and then we made a lower low right here. So this is the current range of the market. That's the range. So now we scale into that range and see if there are any areas of liquidity, if there are any areas of supply in this case, because we're bearish. And right here, we reacted off of this level of supply here. One reaction, two reactions. So could we actually fall because we failed to generate the higher high here and now we're making a lower low. So could we start the trend like that? Absolutely. That's something we could definitely see. However, I don't see anything in here right now that's a good area of supply for me to pull back into in short. So I'm going to be patient with this. What we could also see is, a run lower, right? Meaning taking out these lows, a run higher, taking out these highs, coming into, if you scale into a lower time frame, you'll be able to see an area of supply here. This is also where the liquidity was run, huge buy to sell. So we could come up into that zone and go short. What would that create? Right? Well, buy side and sell side, sell to buy to sell, that type 2 manipulation that we talk about in our mentorship. Very, very, very powerful formation when it comes down to institutional liquidity. So, and manipulation. So anyways, that's what I'll be looking for. First and foremost, that could be an area of interest to look for shorts from. Or, we get a low, we actually fail to make a higher high, come up into something, create some sort of level of supply, and look to continue to short with the overall trend. So I just don't have any current setups at the moment. This is the only level I like. If we do form something like this, then that could be something that we look out for the upcoming week and the next couple of weeks, whatever, right? There's no formation yet, nothing I'm interested in right now, but my overall directional bias is for sure short on NZDUSD. USD Swiss franc, the inverse, right? Dollar strong. We want to be looking for overall long. This is something I talked about last week. But anyways, we are currently bullish, even though we are higher time frame bearish. That is definitely the case. However, dollar is still strong. I don't want to fight the momentum right now. If dollar is going to go short, then we'll figure that out. And once it breaks structure, we can look to trade dollar weakness. But anyways, currently right now, what is so great about this setup if we just get a pullback, which, who knows? Could we have a pullback? We could. Could we not have a pullback? We could as well. Who knows, right? Right. I'm not trying to say that USDCHF will go short. I see time and time again, for those of you who are a part of the TRADINGNUT Telegram channel, I see time and time again people asking other people, where is gold going? Where is NASDAQ going? Where is NZDJPY going? Where is X, Y, and Z going? No one knows, ladies and gentlemen. No one knows. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Nobody knows the answers to these, right? It's all based upon probabilities. If I knew where it was going, I'd be a multi-billionaire right now. There wouldn't be enough liquidity for me to trade because I'd want to trade it so much. No one knows where it's going. So we have to get that mentality out of your heads for those of you who may be asking those questions, because no one, I don't care what kind of trader you are, no one knows where it's going with 100% certainty, right? So many people will say to me, well, okay, I'll just short it into that level if you think it's going to come into there. Well, what if it doesn't? What if it just continues? Do we trade this? No. What do? Move on, because there's no setup. If it just keeps mooning, and going, there's no setup. We'll just move on to the next trade. But those of you who short it because you think it's going to come into there, so you just short it because, then you're running the risk of you losing the trade, because this right here, if you just short it, what are your confluences for a trade in here? You don't have any, right? These are the things that will differ an amateur trader from a professional trader. 99% of the people out there are amateur traders and think like that. Like, oh, I can just short it into there because there's an area of interest. Does it have to come into the area of interest? No, it does not. Therefore, we have to be patient. Now, if there is a setup, maybe we form some sort of accumulation, there's some sort of equal run, buy to sell, and then we're bearish, low, high, low. We're looking for that one drive, two drive, third drive into the low. We haven't come into here yet because we have room into this objective, and we have a buy to sell or a supply or something like that. Then we can short it, counter trend into it, because what do we have? A setup. But until that occurs, we don't have a setup. So why are we shorting it, right? It's just these simple things that some people can't seem to wrap their brain around, and it's why they're losing on a day-to-day basis, why they keep blowing accounts, right? It's just the change in mindset is so very powerful. And the discipline and the patience. People who are the most patient in this world probably are likely to be the most successful. Not always true, but the majority of the time it is. So anyway, sorry for the rant, guys, but it's just so important for me to tell you guys this, because time and time again, I see the exact opposite in these groups. And it just, boils my blood sometimes. But anyways, current trend is bullish, at least short term. Equal highs, equal lows. What do we have? Buy side liquidity run, sell side liquidity run, continuation. What is that? Type 2 manipulation. Buy to sell to buy. So within that, that was the current range of this pullback. So where are the last selling volumes between the ranges? Well, we have one right here. There's a lower time frame where you can't see it because we're on the 1 hour, but if you scale in, there's one right here. And then there's this one overall one right here. So if we get an overall retracement and sweep sell side, that would be my first level. If that loses and comes lower, that will be my second. That will be my third. Because the probability of us going long here is more probable than us breaking and going short. Because why? We're bullish. And we have the type 2 manipulation, buy to sell to buy. Okay, so that's my reasoning behind USD-CHF. Just waiting for the pullback. If we get it, great. If not, oh well, we move on. NZD Swiss franc, same sort of deal. We can use correlative pairs and other pairs to help determine our directional bias in the market, right? So for instance, we're looking for USD Swiss franc continuations long. So we're potentially looking for NZDCHF continuations long as well. Does that meet what we're looking at? Well, yes and no. No, because we're overall bearish, but yes, because at least in the short term, we're counter trend bullish, meaning higher high. We failed to generate a lower low below this low. We stopped, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Expansion, pullback, expansion, pullback, expansion. Where's the range? Pause the video and tell me where the current range is in the market. It's right here, between that low and that high. It's simple, guys. It just takes a little bit of practice. That's it. And then repetition, repetition, repetition. And we teach you these steps in our mentorship, exact steps to look out for. Makes it very easy to apply what you've learned. Anyways, so this low to this high. But what about the current trend? High, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. Could we go like that? Yes. Could we go like this? Yes. Because this is a lower time frame trend, just as this is a higher time frame expansion, higher time frame pullback, higher time frame expansion. Just like we had here on, what was it, Euro AUD? I think it was another pair I talked about. Yeah, but anyways, here. Was it EURNZD? I forget what pair I was talking about it with. Anyways, sorry guys. I forget what I was talking about. But yeah, that's essentially how it is. Higher time frame expansions, lower time frame trends. Okay, so let me go back all the way. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Sorry. Let me just get rid of all this stuff. Whoops. But you can see what I mean by this, the lower and the higher time frame. Okay, so where's the current range of the lower time frame? Well, this is the pullback, that's the expansion. This is the current range of the lower time frame. So are there any areas of demand? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Do we have one? We do. So, and this just kind of comes with experience. I know it's not very It's not very obvious, but if you look at it from you have to kind of be involved with NZDCAD here during this time. This was Wednesday morning, so midweek. The midweek reversal actually came in 8 in the morning. So this was New York session open. This followed, and I believe a news event the prior night. We had equal lows. We had the last sell to buy. We had the failure to generate the lower low. We had the higher high. We had that manipulative wick at that current time, and we went long after coming into an area of demand in here to follow the current structure. So this wick, what is a wick? If it's a wick to the downside, it is selling and then it is buying at the same time. How do we know that? Well, because you have to buy and then sell to close right there with creating that wick. If it just sold off, it would be an engulfing, right? So there's a lower time frame, and it may not always be obvious, but there is some sort of sell to buy going on within that wick. So that's why that's an area of demand that we could look out for. A lot of sell side liquidity right here. Low, 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 low. All those wicks. People, retail are buying short term probably. That's support. So when it breaks support, their stop losses are triggered. They could also short below the breakout, and then we go long because we do everything retail doesn't. And whatever retail does, we don't do. Observe the masses do the opposite. However, what if we have an overall pullback? What if we actually break? Is it a break of structure or we're pulling back and shorting? No. Why? Because we're overall bullish. It's just an overall pullback likely, right? I said keyword likely. Nothing's 100% guaranteed. Anyways, where is the last selling volume? Well, it's very hard to tell. I would say it's probably right here, so that if this were to continue, we failed and then we made the higher high. So within this region, we have an unmitigated level of demand on the lower time frame. This also acts as sell side potentially. So could we sweep sell side and go long from that level? Yeah, there's a potential. So I have those two regions of price. How you could look to sort of trade this, in my opinion, sometimes what I do is I like to place entry here, stop here, and then the second entry at the same level as the original stop of the first trade, and then the stop below that low or below the overall swing low because this is the current range below that low. And then take profit, wherever you'd like. Okay, so that's, NZDCHF. Continuing here, NZDCAD. Now, I have a great breakdown on AUDCAD, but quickly to go over NZDCAD, we are overall bearish. If you haven't noticed, CAD is very, very strong right now. CAD-CHF is pushing up to the moon. NZDCAD is falling. AUDCAD is falling. GBPUSD is falling. CAD is very strong at the moment. So, and we can even see that here. We've made, in this case here, we're following higher time frame trend. From the higher time frame back from 2022 December, this high right here from March of 2022, so about like 8 or 9 months later, we had the huge liquidity run. It wasn't very obvious, but it was. This wick here took out that high. And then we started trending down. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. In here was manipulation. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches of this trend line. Price breaks out, entices buyers, takes the stops of anyone who is selling, and then it rallies lower. And of course, we sold it from that exact price point because right in here is the last buying volume of this overall pullback before the structure was broken. So that creates the supply. And I remember that trade because that was a beautiful trade that we sent out, huge risk to reward. That actually finally hit TP a couple weeks ago, below that previous low. But anyways, continuing lower. Now we're just following trend. Low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. All of this just an overall pullback. And now we're continuing. I love these pairs. I love NCAD, I love ACAD, I love ACHF, I love NCHF. I just do. They wave really nicely. So anyways, area of last buying volume, lower low. Overall pullback into it, lower low again. So we can see, whoops, get rid of that. Liquidity run here, last buy to sell. And then we broke the structure, lower low. Yes, we have a lower high and a lower low. And could we continue to go like this? Yeah, sure. But I don't really see anything in here, anything in here that would signify a good supply zone to pull back into in short. But I do see areas of liquidity. So we'll scale into the 1 hour. On a lower time frame, there is an area of supply in here, really just anywhere up into this huge buy to sell. What I would like to see is some sort of buy side run and then sell side sell off, right? 1, 2, 3 touches of this trend line is a lot of buy side liquidity above that trend line. So manipulative move up, take the stops, maintain the structure, lower low, lower high, lower low. That's something I would like to see. So that's NZDCAD.
Folks, if you're looking for an automated trade journal or trade copier, then check out my sponsor, Swift Journal. They connect to your MetaTrader 4 or 5 broker or prop firm and give you amazing insights into your trading. To get 20% off, click the link in the description and use coupon code TRADINGNUT.
Very, very similar is AUDCAD. So with AUDCAD, I'll go to the higher time frame first. We have a few areas of interest here, whether it's going to be short-term or long-term. And we talked about this before, right? This is a low, this is a high, this is a lower low. So could we see a lower high, like an overall pullback for a lower low? Sure. Where would price likely to pull back into? If you're confused as to whether or where price is likely to stop within this overall pullback, what do I always tell you guys? Or ask yourself this question, where is the previous pullback? Well, the previous pullback is here. Okay, great. So where's the last buying volume? Well, let's look at the counter trend. You have your high, you have your low, demand. You have your high, you have your low. We reacted from demand. We did not break and make a higher high above this high. We actually stopped and then started the downtrend, which created the break of structure after the overall pullback. So the last buying volume is right in here. And if you scale in a little bit, there's a liquidity run. Just go to a lower time frame really quick. You have liquidity run here, buy to sell, imbalance move. So really anywhere between 8.9 psychological level, 8.91, 8.92, 8.93, 8.94, 8.95 maybe. So really anywhere in here is where I'll be looking to take price short, right? If we get that overall retracement to the upside. However, we're still maintaining lower time frame shorts as well. Low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. Could we make a lower low? Yeah, we could. We could easily continue with that type of structure. So to follow that structure, where is the previous pullback? It's right here. So high, low, high, low, high, low, high, last liquidity run, lower low. We broke the structure. We're creating buy side liquidity. We have an area of supply here. Could we take the liquidity and then go short from that supply? Sure. Now I'm going to make this a little more pretty because I know some of you are probably confused, and that's okay. That wasn't the best drawing. You couldn't really see it anyways. But first and foremost, let me ask you this question. Where are we heading? If we're shorting, there needs to be a reason why we're shorting, not just confluences at supply here, right? Where is price going? Well, that's where we have objective. So likely we're probably at this point in time, even though we're technically still bullish overall, we're probably likely to take this low out. So with my current directional bias being short, I'm aiming for sell side liquidity below this low. So that will be around 859.89, that's the exact price of the low, but probably around 8.6 psychological level. That's probably where we're heading. So anyways, definitely shorts until those levels are met. If we end up stopping and going long, and we actually break this previous high, then we'd be considered bullish, and then I'd look for buys. But until we break this high here, I'm still bearish. So this is definitely an area of interest around 8.9. But to continue with the lower time frame as we have here, we have, just scale in now. Let's go to the 15-minute across the board. I'll follow each structural level. I'll show you guys. All right, last buying volume supply, lower low. What do we do before coming to the level? We create liquidity. We run liquidity into the supply. Huge buy to sell. What do we create? Lower low. Where's the new range? From this high to this low. Overall pullback. Overall pullback. There's an area of, and if I just get a bar replay here, there's an area on the 2-minute time frame of this supply zone. Beautiful supply. We also have a little bit of an imbalance in here as well. So really anywhere in this huge buy to sell. What time did that occur? Thursday, August 10th. So it's about over a month ago. 8:30 in the morning, Eastern time. What is that? New York session open. You see these manipulative moves happen around certain times of the day. Time and price is definitely important. All right, so let's go back out to the higher time frame. We'll zoom out here. So that's that area of supply. We came into that supply, maintained the bearish structure. Low, high. We swept this previous high, had that last push to the upside, buy to sell, and we broke the previous low here. So now we're overall bearish. Now the higher time frame is bearish, right? Because we have what? Lower low, lower high, lower low. And the lower time frame is bearish now, meaning we broke this counter trend to the downside. Now we could be experiencing lower low, lower high, lower low on the counter trend, or excuse me, with the short-term trend as well. So where's the most recent level of supply? Well, that's the last buying volume in here. Price didn't come up into that level, so this could act as buy-side liquidity next week. We could come up, run that buy side into that level and go short. If it does, great. Where do stops go? Above that high here. If we go long and have that overall retracement, then we look to our higher time frame zone, which is that last buy to sell, and we place our limits there. Right? That's how we can see price from a higher and lower time frame perspective with all the other confluences. Supply and demand, time and price, liquidity runs, all that good stuff. So that's how I would look at trading AUDCAD from a top-down perspective. Two more, AUDNZD. So with AUDNZD, we are overall bullish, right? So we have a lot of buy-side liquidity. I guess I'll just start and kind of do a quick top-down here. I've been over this pair since countless times, but it's always nice to have a refresher. This low from 2015, about 8 years ago, right, almost 9 years ago, was swept in 2020. March of 2020. What happened in March of 2020? COVID used as the excuse to push price lower. What do you know? Happens for a reason, guys. It is not by chance. It's all pre-planned. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, creating retail liquidity before the huge move. It was preparing for this move since 2019. Anyways, huge sell to buy, retest of this trend line. This is so ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a perfect retest of that trend line. What is everyone and their brother doing? They're shorting. So what do? You have to buy, right? That's why, when the government tells you one thing, do the opposite. When the media tells you one thing, do the freaking opposite, right? Everything in this world is controlled by the elites. Sorry, I don't want to go into politics and all that stuff, but it's true. Just like the market, it's all manipulated. It's all controlled by the central banks. Price is manipulated all the time, right? Retail goes short, we must go long. So anyways, that turns into demand. So what happens? Well, create sell-side liquidity, come into that level again, have a reaction, right? A year later. Anyways, have a reaction from it, fail to make the lower low, higher high. Where's the last selling volume? Right here. That's the last selling volume before we made the higher high. So what do we come into? Boom, right there. What happens prior to that level? Liquidity is created. Equal highs, equal lows. Enticing buyers above the resistance, come back down, take their stops. Enticing sellers below the support, taking their stops when price goes long. Where's the last selling volume? Well, if I extend this over, it's right here. It's right there. Boom. So price comes back in, creates liquidity again before coming into that level. 1, 2, 3 touches of this trend line. Price breaks into the level. Retail shorts because they don't know what's going on. Price retests the trend line. Again, retail tries to go short. And guess what? Huge move to the upside. That's why we had that beautiful trade. I even called that out on multiple videos in the past. I said this could be easily the trade of the year. Well, it's certainly turning into it. I'm still in it. I'm aiming for 1 to 9 here and a 1 to 6, so 1 to 15 in total. Really, if you had 15% in 1 year and you just traded this setup, you're done for the year. 15% is an amazing return for the year. Anyways, we have equal lows here, so if price decides to have an overall retracement, we could sweep a lot of sell side, and we have this huge imbalance. This is called an inside supply zone or inside demand because we never had a reaction from it that failed to generate the lower low and made the higher high, which would have resulted in that demand. But instead, we just blitzed right through the prior supply zone. So in that case, we'll extend the supply zone over, which creates the inside supply, but now demand. That's what we're looking to buy. So that's the higher time frame. So if we do come back down into that level, I will 100% be looking for buys. But short term, we have, well, for one, a lot of buy-side liquidity above this previous high. If I extend that over, we're probably going to take that. We have buy-side liquidity above here. We have buy-side liquidity above here. What if we were to go short higher time frame? Where are we likely to pull back into? Because we're bullish now. Right here, we're bullish. High, low, looking for a higher high. Well, where's the last buying volume? Well, within this whole pullback here, even though I definitely expect a higher high because we're bullish higher time frame, even if we were to go short, we would go short off of supply. I'm not going to sell it here because we're likely not to, but that's the previous supply zone, which just creates more conviction that we're going to go long because we have a lot of room to go to the upside before we even hit that level 1.1240, which is a psych level. So you can see here, high, low, demand, reaction, failed to make a higher high, lower low, that's the supply. Anyways, going back down to a lower time frame in here now, because lower time frame, we can still be trading with the trend, even though we have equal lows, doesn't mean we have to just stop and wait. If we have a setup that's currently bullish, even with equal lows, that's fine. Take it. Maybe it's short term. Aim for the previous liquidity zone. Aim for the previous supply or demand zone, in this case supply, because we're bullish. Maybe this level up here, last buying point, maybe somewhere in there, or this previous liquidity zone right there, that previous high. So anyways, 1 hour time frame. Let's look at structure. High, low. Where's the next high? Right here. That's one expansion. Where's the end of the pullback? Well, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. That's where we expanded, failed to make the lower low higher high. So this is the last selling volume. But if, it's hard to sometimes see that, this is really the last selling volume here, because that's what mitigated this down close. Anyways, when we created the higher high, we generated sell side liquidity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels. We had that sell to buy into that zone, and then we made the higher high again. So higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We finally took out that high, so higher high. So where's the range? Well, it's right here. But the only level I have, well, the two levels I have are here and here, because there's nothing lower than that level, because we already mitigated this last selling volume here. So I would classify this as a high, a low, and a high. So I would classify now, since there's nothing else to mitigate in here because we did it here, I'd classify this as the range. And this is just where it comes with experience, guys. It just takes time to see it like that. But anyways, if this is the current range, let's scale in. Well, what do we have? Sell side liquidity. This huge wick, they're selling and buying at the same time. So even if you just wanted to look at that time frame and not scale in, you'd still know that that's a sell to buy in there. All right, so we could trade off that level and go long. If you scale in, there's like an area of demand right there. So that's one level. But what happened when price came into our prior demand? Well, where's the counter trend? Well, we had our low, a high, low, high, low, high, failed to make a lower low, higher high. That's the last selling volume. So let's go to the hourly so we can see it a little bit better. You can see that that's the demand. So we could come all the way down and go long. So that's why I have areas like that. And then previous buy side liquidity, we look to buy it into the liquidity. And at that point, you can move stop to break even, take partials. So that's how I would look at AUDNZD. AUDCHF, last one, very similar. Looking to just continue with the overall trend of the market. Even though we are overall bearish, currently we're lower time frame bullish, and the previous supply zone, in my opinion, is right here. That's the last buying volume. You see that doji candle and then the huge sell-off, just straight imbalance, straight selling volume. So I think if we are to go short, I'm not sure if we're going to go short, but if we are, it could go short from that level. But we haven't reached that level yet, and we're counter trend, at least bullish, high, low, high. So could we go like this? Have one more drive into that high? Sure. That's why there is a setup here for potential longs, because, well, for one, we haven't come up into that level, but two, we also have high, low. That previous low here was swept, sell side liquidity run. Then we expanded again. High, low, demand, high, low, mitigation, high, low. We need to come into here and mitigate that demand. So let me go to the 4 hour, and really, from here to here, that new demand, we could just pop down into here. We have the 4 hour EMA, and then have one more drive into that high. So a really quick and easy trade, something like that could occur this upcoming week, but who knows? But honestly, guys, that's pretty much all I have. I'm going to be monitoring all the pairs going into the week and obviously throughout the week, but the ones that are not highlighted in red, I just really don't have anything for, so it's really not worth my time going through them. If there were setups on them, of course, I would have highlighted them. But anyways, that's why stuff changes from week to week. A lot of great setups, a lot of great trades. So congrats from the VIP community and the Signals community from our Platform Automation group. Congrats, you guys took a lot of great trades, made a good amount of money this week. And that's why it all comes down to patience, guys. When you're patient, you're going to see some long-term results. That's why people who want to trade every day, every week end up losing in the long term. So anyways, guys, if you liked what you saw and you want to learn how to do this on a day-to-day basis, going through all the steps and actually applying what you learned instead of just looking at some random BS course and just getting terminology, that's not going to be good enough. That's why we provide actual application steps and procedures so you guys can actually apply this and do this for yourself. If that's what you want, head over to our website, aerialfxtrading.com. Book a free call with me. It's free, 15, 20 minutes. We'll just talk for a little while, see where you are, how we can best help you if we can in the first place. If we can, great. We'd love to get you set up. And if not, no worries. I'll even provide you with my trading plan absolutely for free just for taking the time to book the call. So anyways, guys, have a great trading week ahead. And I look forward to seeing your guys' progress and success as we go. Take care.
Tired of missing trades or spending hours at the charts? Introducing my Robot Builders Club. With our platform, you can build bots in minutes, not weeks, without any coding required. Get lifetime access to my video course, VIP community, and over 40 ready-made robots. Works with MT4 or MT5, and as a bonus, you'll get 3 months access to my robot lab, where we build and test bots on live calls every week. Join the hundreds of traders who are trading smarter, not harder. Click the link in the description to learn more, get the free training, and download a free robot.